right. Now, I'm giving a shout out to Baba Tonamin. Baba Tonamin. I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly, but big shout out to Baba Tonamin for giving me the idea of fixing what I thought I fixed. So let's get into this. This is what if Naruto had the ultimate sharingan part 1. Let's get into this. We see Naruto running through the streets of Konoha with all of the speed he had. His legs, and now his legs would give out, and his feet were already bleeding. Naruto had bumped into two shinobi by accident, and he was by the way, this is a 3-year-old Naruto. So he was facing, well, the price. Anyway, Naruto yelled out, "I'm sorry for bumping into you." But almost as if the shinobi didn't care at all, the shinobi grabbed onto a kunai. He had lost stamina, but Naruto was used to roaming around Konoha streets, and he had to beg for food sometimes, and he kind of got used to the life that he was living. While the shinobi came from a rich family, and he didn't have to, so Naruto got away from him easily. I see him, one of the shinobi said, as then he pulled out his kunai and threw 4 of them towards Naruto. Naruto's clothes then are stuck onto the wall of the alley that he was trying to jump the fence of. Then one of the shinobi said, "Hey, you're gonna pay for life for touching a royal. I have you know, I am one of the closest descendants of the Senju clan," he said with pride. "And for bumping into me, you'll pay with your life," he said, looking at Naruto. He then thrust his fist into Naruto's stomach. This internally damaged Naruto, causing him to spit out blood. His organs were, well, 2 of his organs were destroyed by the one punch that the Jonin had placed into him. Then the other Jonin kicked Naruto in the head, causing minor brain damage. Naruto felt like he was in a different place. He felt in pain. His body felt incredibly pain. He felt pain everywhere. He wished that the pain would stop. But he didn't want to die. He started to pray for his life. As then Another kick from the shinobi caused Naruto's eyes to open widely as blood leaked out of even his eyes, his mouth, in some in the weirdest spot out of his fingernails. Naruto coughed up blood as he had already lost around a gallon of blood. He was currently feeling lightheaded from the loss of blood. Then then his eyes began to burn and his vision became clearer. But he had to take that with it. His sharingan then gave his body a boost. A boost. As he then ripped his body, as he then ripped his arms from the kunai, as he then flew in with a punch. By the way, he only has one Tomoe within one of his eyes. Once going in for the punch, he was surprised to see that he phased through his opponent. But instead of what you would find with Obito just phasing through, the man turned into ashes as he fell to the ground. The other shinobi looked over in horror. He then used as he then went into a defensive stance. Naruto then disappeared from his vision, shooting his hand directly through his stomach. Then he shot it through his chin, through his head, going completely up. He then yanked out his hand, kicking, sending his opponent flying forward. Then then his body began to get heavier and heavier until he was unable to move. His eyes began to fill up with even more pain, but it all of a sudden stopped. Then, within his one eye with the one Tomoe, the Tomoe glowed bright red. As it was not crimson red, it was a bright red. Then it, it went down in tones until it completely changed into a different color. It went pale white with the red covered covering it. Naruto Naruto felt as if he could fly at the moment. He then ran with all of his power, realizing what he had done. He'd murdered a nobleman. Surely he'd get punished for just being alive. Ever since he turned the age of 3, everyone started to hate him for some unknown reason. Well, he thought it was unknown. It was unknown to him. Naruto then found himself on the outskirts of the village. He thought, should he go rogue? He thought technically is far too. He's not a ninja, so he wouldn't be a rogue ninja at all. But then Miss Clouds' eyes. Then a voice could be heard. Hey kid, give me everything you got. A voice said with a noise being heard. It sounded like 1 million birds chirping. As then Naruto seen the bright light shining through the mist. As the mist then disappeared, to see a man with blue eyes, black hair, with a slim posture, with a blade within his hand. He wore a black cloak with red clouds on them. And in every single cloud, there had been painted on an X. Then Naruto gets into a defensive stance, as this was the first thing that he thought of doing once the man starts started to speak to him. The man then he said, huh, "You really think that you'll be able to beat me, one of the greatest shinobi of all time, Raiju?" As we then see the bingo books, we then see the bingo book. Page 325. Raijo. Raijo the Blade. Raijo the Dark Blade. Known abilities. Lightning, lightning style, rapid doom. Known feats. Killing three Kage level fighters without having even a scratch on them. Fighting Madara Uchiha and helping Hashirama Senju fight Madara Uchiha and leaving alive. And and having multiple altercations with Madara and Tide, his current group, the Akatsuki, known family, none. Known elements: water, wind, fire, and lightning. And then he said, they just don't learn. As he noticed that Naruto was in a defensive stance, he then said, lightning style, rapid doom. As then multiple orbs of lightning shot down towards Naruto, as they seemed almost as if they were a bullet hitting onto the area. They exploded with a lot of damage being dealt. They also erased 3 times their size, causing massive destruction. Naruto. This is what's going to get him into the bingo book. Uh, uh, Miss Ninja Scout looked on at the battle. Naruto then activated his dojutsu. Then he slung up his hand, as for some reason he felt like He felt like he wanted to do something. He felt like certain signs were calling him, as he instinctively did hand signs. Then again, jitsu. No. Then then lightning. His most powerful attack, as we now know it as such. It is called lightning phantom. A large amount of lightning shoots down towards the earth, where a specific figure is, where either multiple people or a specific figure could be. Once in range, the lightning bolt quickly seems to disappear. Actually, the voltages split up into tiny groups, making themselves into microwaves. Microwaves strong enough to shut down every single part of the body, causing instant death. Then, then Raijo, Raiju, Raiju stood up, and then the blood leaked out of his mouth. He then fell towards the ground. Blood leaking out of his mouth. The Cloud Shinobi thought, how could a mere kid? As then Raiju said with while with his last breath, if you're going to be the one to kill me, I want to know your name so I can bring you to the afterlife with me. As blood leaked out of his mouth further, Naruto then thought of a name that had a nice ring to it. As he then said, Naruto. Naruto of the Demon Eye. As then Raiju collapsed dead. His his system was stronger than expected, so it caused minor damage very quickly until all of the minor damage added up, creating massive damage. This is the reason why he would leak blood instead of instantly falling down dead. That's what would happen if he weren't immune to such. If he had less of a powerful immune system. If his body was less powerful, basically. Naruto. Then Naruto looked at the dead man. Then, as because of the fact that he mastered that form of the Sharingan simply because he used it one time, because his Sharingan is going to be so OP that he will be capable. And success. Right. Then his hand his hand then shot down towards the man. Then he touched him as his body then turned into ashes. Then the Mishinobi wrote it down as he had his bingo book. He wrote down the description and the name and his jutsu. And his rank based just by that was easily S class because because everyone within the Akatsuki were essentially S class shinobi. It's just natural. So they assumed the same for Naruto. To be able to defeat a S class shinobi so easily, he was considered a demon. Naruto then was oddly comfortable with the fact that he had murdered someone. It was odd. Naruto didn't know why he felt so in- weird. He didn't know why he didn't care. Like he killed somebody for the first, actually third time, but it didn't seem like he killed them. Then, um, thank y'all. Honestly, thank y'all for all y'all help. I'm trying to make these videos shorter so I can leave y'all on more cliffhangers so y'all can revisit this more. It's actually a good strategy. Trust me, I know. Anyway, Naruto then trains with his unknown jutsu for. Wait, hold on. Let me write it down. Um, 3 year old Naruto trains for 7 years. There we go. To mass master his do Bye guys. That's the end of this video.